Hello, this is Dave Taylor again. This is just a real quick video to show follow-up of after I pruned my 6-year-old Honeycrisp tree. As you can see, it does have a nice pyramidal form to it. I basically just thinned out a few of the larger branches, took out some of the smaller wood. If you remember, I had said this was the busiest branch. There was 3 branches going out here, and so those have all been trimmed off. There was some smaller wood lower in the tree. There had been a branch going out this way. That's been pruned off. And then when you step back, you can, it's much more open now. I also forgot to mention a couple things on my first video. Here's two things. Two things really. I did tip the top of the tree. I probably only cut, I don't know, like 4 inches off or 5 inches, something like that. But you probably can't see it unless I zoom in real. I'm not even zooming in, I'm holding the camera up farther, but that second bud right there, I actually took that bud right off because I know from experience that if you head the tree, the first 2 or 3 buds will tend to be very vertical in nature and are virtually impossible to get down to horizontal unless you weigh them down somehow. So rather than have to deal with any of that, I'll just rely on the other buds that are beneath it. And I just took I left the first bud because that's going to become the new central leader. And then I took the second bud right off. I just popped it off. I'll leave the 3rd and 4th and 5th buds on just fine. The other thing I wanted to mention is over here. You'll see, there was a vigorous branch coming off of here, so that's gone. I used a bench cut, I think it's called, in the hopes that maybe someday there'll be a renewal branch coming out there, but geez, why did I take that off? I think the reason is I wanted it so it wasn't so competing with this so much, and so that it wouldn't shade out this branch, which is just at a beautiful angle. So I wanted to make sure I left this one and didn't shade it. So we're going to let this one grow out as it wants to. And I suppose if I don't need this, at some point in the future I'll just bring that back to the main trunk. I probably should do that already, but I decided not to. But getting back to my point, all these, this whirl of branches in this area of the tree here, this is going to become problematic as these branches age. They're going to get thicker and thicker and thicker, and there's so many of these branches so tightly packed together that they're going to start bumping into each other, and then what you'll end up with is they call it bark inclusion, and it basically it compresses the bark in between the branches, which creates a weak point, and it's also prone to diseases, and insects and things can get in there, so you really don't want that. So what I've kind of decided to do, and I may even take out another one of these in the future, but after they fruit a while, I've decided that this branch, which had been more vigorous, it had been going out way out here, and now I tipped it at these couple of fruit buds here. What I'm going to do is eliminate this branch ultimately, maybe another 2 or 3 years down the road. I'm going to take it right off. But what I wanted to do, since it does have a bunch of fruit buds on it, is allow that to fruit for a few years while it wants to. And if it should grow out some, I suppose I'll have to decide whether I want to cut that back or just let it go. I suppose it's better if I let it, because some leaves will be needed to nourish the fruit that grows on there. But anyways, I'll allow that branch to fruit for a couple of years, and then I'll just eliminate it. And I might end up doing the same with this, or severely, yeah, I'll probably end up taking one of them out, because probably 10 years from now, this branch is going to be this thick, and this branch is going to be this thick, and they're going to start bumping into each other right at the, right in between there. So these are things you got to kind of think about when you're pruning your tree. Is you want to, well, if you can, you want your main scaffold branches that you plan on keeping forever, you want them to be more spread out, like they are in the lower part of the tree. There's one here, and then this one, it's a little bit higher than the other. This one's on the complete opposite side of the tree. This one's on the complete opposite side from that one. This one's up a little higher and in a different spot. This one is opposite that. So you want to space these out so that they're not going to be bumping into each other in the long term. But now that I've allowed all these to grow so close together, this whole span here is only a matter of 3 or 4 inches, and I've got 5 scaffolds that want to grow out of there. That's going to be problematic in years future. So it's something you want to think about. I'm probably going to end up into some of the same of that story as these branches get a little older, although they're spaced a little bit better than those other ones. But anyways, this is the result. I think that tree is beautiful. So I'm going to leave it just like that, and I did not take a whole heck of a lot of wood off this year like I usually do, so that should also limit the vegetative growth and promote the fruiting of this tree. So I'm expecting a good fruit crop this year. Coming soon, I will be taking care of this other tree. Now this is a younger tree. This one is only about 4 years old, and it's still buried under a foot of snow. But this is my Cortland tree. Right now, as it stands, it is the same height as me. It's about 6 feet. Oh, although I'm standing on a foot of snow, I think it's about 6.5 feet tall. But I'm kind of disappointed with how this one's turned out, as far as, I mean, I've got a beautiful whirl of branches at the bottom. Again, I'll have to be concerned with them bumping into each other to some extent with age, but for the time being, they're fine. So I got mixed feelings, I guess, about the bottom whirl of branches down here. But then, like I mentioned last year, this whole side of the tree is just barren. There's no branches that want to come out. From this point down here, all the way up until you get to this whirl up here, gosh, that's a span of 3 feet or something. There are 0 branches, really. I mean, you got this little nub here, but I'm kind of disappointed with this tree. It's not spreading out so much. It reminds me of what the Honeycrisp looked like a year or 2 ago. It just wanted to grow vertical, and it didn't send a lot of branches out. These measly little branches here, this one's 2 inches long. This is I don't know, maybe 4 inches. Same thing here. So I think what I'm going to do with this tree is, and this is all barren here, not doing a whole lot of good. So I might prune this. I might tip the tree really hard down to probably I don't know. This is last season's growth. It's about 1 foot, so I'll probably take a little bit more than half of that off. And what that's going to do is it's going to promote really vigorous growth in these first few buds at least. If not, help promote these and get them to come out farther. But this whole region of the tree there's just nothing going on. There's tiny little buds here which might be considered fruit buds. Now this one's broken. I don't know if that one's going to do anything, but so anyways, there is a lot of wood in the lower part of this tree, so I'm gonna have to be careful about what I decide to keep and take some of it off for sure. Now Cortland, I've found, tends to be more of a tip-bearing tree, so I want to make sure I do not tip any of these branches down here that I decide to keep. If I want to prune anything, I'll end up taking the whole branch out, but not tip them so much. I might tip one here and there to help the tree spread a little bit, but for the most part, I'll leave the tips on so they can fruit some. And I don't want a lot of fruit this year either, because I do want more vegetative growth. But so this will be an interesting one. Yeah, but really, the main thing with this tree is I gotta tip the head way back. And I didn't even talk about this tree on my other video. I did prune it already, but this tree is also 4 years old, and it's really in rough shape because I've been pruning it too hard every year, and now it's to the point where I have to prune it hard because it's only got 5 little branches on it. Now it had some up here, but they were almost the same thickness as the central leader, so I had to bench cut those because they would have ended up competing with the central leader, and I didn't want that either. So now the tree was up to here or so, you know, it's 5.5 feet or something, and so I've already taken that much off, and you can probably see this. I popped that second bud right off so that it doesn't compete here and, you know, grow so vertical. So same kind of thing as I was talking about on the Honeycrisp tree. Now this is a Sweet 16 tree. It does grow in the shade of this big lilac bush all day, or well, probably half the day anyways. So it's probably not that vigorous of a grower anyways, but then being that it grows in the shade, it's even worse. And over there is my cherry tree. I'm going to make that the topic of a separate video. Hopefully it's shorter than this one. I gotta stop rambling. I'm gonna sign off now. So happy pruning, everybody.